It was a great week here at the Proving Grounds. A cold front passed and deer were certainly on their feet. I was able to get out and launch a couple arrows. Even more importantly, I was reminded of the freedom I have to go hunting pretty much anytime I want. And that freedom has been protected by the many men and women that have served in our armed forces. This week, as we celebrate Veterans Day, take a moment and thank everyone you see that served our great nation. Veterans, I want to thank you. As we roll into November, deer activity should be increasing. Research clearly shows that bucks move many more miles during the rut compared to other times of the year. Now that doesn't mean they move way further and go all through the county, but it means they actually travel more within their home range. It's a great time to be deer hunting. Just last week, Pro Staffer Heath Martin was in Kansas with a cold front sweeping across the Midwest. Heath tagged a mature buck that responded to a grunt call, and we felt that was a great sign of things to come here at the Proving Ground.
That's what it's all about right here, killing big mature deer. He is old. Look at the mass. He probably got 6-inch mass measurements right there at the basis.
GrowingDeer.tv is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by RECONYX, Trophy Rock, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester, Dead Downwind, Antler Dirt, Lacrosse Footwear, Whitetail Properties, Bloodsport Arrows, Outdoor Edge Knife, Flatwood Natives, Morel Targets, Caldwell, Hooks Custom Calls, Montana Decoy, Summit Tree Stands, Drake Non-Typical Clothing, House Lubricator Products, LEM Game Processing, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, Redneck Hunting Blinds.
During the morning of October 25th, Adam and Matt hunted here at the Proving Grounds in a small opening in the middle of the timber. They were hoping a hitless buck would be passing by.
It's October the 25th. This morning we've got a calm wind. It's supposed to pick up mid-morning, but right now it's only about 5 miles an hour. It's coming, hitting us right in the face, going up the mountain, but we're in this little bitty staging area, or almost a little opening in the woods. Got a lot of thick cover around us. A lot of the does have been passing through here, and they've been showing up on our RECONYX camera. It's the time of year where a lot of bucks are starting to cruise. A lot of the younger bucks are starting to pester those does. So the does are going to go in bed in your cover and try and hide from those pesky bucks. That's why we're set up here this morning.
Not long into the hunt, they heard leaves crunching and spotted antlers working through the timber.
Just a good looking deer, but he was 3. And to kill mature deer, you gotta pass bucks just like that, so it was a good deer.
This encounter was a great reminder that if your goal is to allow bucks to express most of their antler growth potential, you need to pass those 3-year-old bucks. Even though that was the only buck they saw during their hunt, it was great to see bucks on their feet patrolling the area during mid-morning. Based on that encounter and all this great behavior our RECONYX cameras have been picking up, we felt that the current conditions were best for morning hunts. The next day, Daniel and I headed to a stand we call Kingpin. We chose that stand because there was an easterly wind and we can approach that stand from the west with the wind right in our face. In addition, there were a lot of acorns falling in the area. About 30 minutes after light, the first doe appeared on the far edge of the food plot.
Several weeks ago, we built a mock scrape and milled a food plot. It's about 30 yards away. Ideal location for a shot.
It wasn't long till a group of does appeared at the far end of the food plot, and this time they were on a beeline toward our stand.
Daniel, if you're on it.
Oftentimes, when a doe group is traveling through the timber, the lead doe will be the largest and most mature.
Looked like a big doe. Gave me a great shot at 20 yards. So put a little freezer meat down. Gonna stay in the stand because it's pre-rut. Hopefully we can get a big buck to match that doe.
There was no reason to get out of stand just because I tagged that doe. Based on my experience, other deer don't shun away from areas where deer has recently been killed. It wasn't long till I had another observation to support that, as we saw more antlerless deer and a young buck coming through the woods. During late October, even when I see a young buck chasing a doe, it makes my heart start to race.
Here comes another one.
After a few grunt calls, Daniel and I heard deer running. It was the same male and female fawn and young buck pursuing them. But what we didn't know was another deer was following them.
Are you on it? Are you on it, Daniel? Yeah. He's down. He's down. This is... Try to hold this together. My dad is diagnosed about a month ago with stage 4 lymphoma. And as the saying goes, he's literally ate up with cancer from here to here. And I'm leaving on Wednesday, 2 days from now, to take him back to the Mayo Clinic for a second round of chemo. The first round was pretty rough. I had just a couple mornings to hunt before I go up there. Of course, my dad's my #1 priority. And I was praying I'd have a good hunt before I got to go. Not just for the show, but to give my dad and I, something to talk about, and something to take the focus off the cancer.
I'm so thankful for all the cards and prayers y'all have sent my family. And those prayers warm my family and I up more than the sun shining right now. I'm very appreciative. That's the pre-rut. It can happen so fast. I was really enjoying watching the buttonbuck and doe fawn and really nice young buck with a lot of character. He was right here behind us. Daniel couldn't quite turn at first because they weren't alert to us. They were just alert because of the chasing. The wind was constant and good, and our scent was working great, our scent control. And that young buck come through, I didn't even worry about the bow. He was obviously an immature buck. And I looked down and saw those antlers, the bases. First thing I saw was the bases because of the leaves. And then as it got through the leaves, I could see that chest and neck and a big scar on the back where it'd been fighting. I said, I'm zipping that bad boy if we get a chance. I couldn't tell if I hit the off shoulder because it was loud when I shot. Did you hear how loud it was? I thought maybe I wasn't worried about it. I thought maybe I hit the off shoulder at that angle. But I could see the arrow or something right behind the shoulder as he would turn right when he went to the woods out there. I'm not sure I've ever seen an arrow any more painted than that one. Goodness gracious, can barely see the white on the blood sport, and it's just heavy, heavy, heavy blood. This is a white fletching here. The blood sport on this side, these are all white letters, and they're just totally saturated with blood, totally covered. Fletching, stem to stern, so. That's the buck. That's a lot of blood right there. Here. This thing gonna be trouble following this one. It's got there's blood right there. Blood right here. She veered this way somewhere, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Ooh, look at that big old body. Well, let's go look at this. Someone lay something down on our last blood here. Big bases, big body, no doubt about the body. Big old shoulders. I'm thrilled with that rascal. Oh man. Look at that chest. I mean, you just look here. Look how far that is. Look at those bases. No doubt that bad boy was mature. I mean, look at that. Oh yeah. I am thrilled with that. Right there. Pop that. It's through the shoulder. Just didn't punch through the skin. I can feel the shoulder being all, I can feel the hole through the bone right there. That's worthy of celebration. I am thankful. Truly was an exceptional morning. Daniel and I saw deer about every 30 minutes, give or take or so. A fun hunt. And I'd taken a doe earlier on, but when this come out, first thing I saw was bases, just the angle I could see from my side of the stand. And then I saw this full chest and neck, and I knew I was launching an arrow. Lots and lots of character to this buck. Scarred up all over, behind the head. Obviously some non-typical points. Blind in one eye. Matter of fact, that was part of this buck's name. Beautiful coloration up here. And I am super proud of this mature buck. This hunt is a great example of strategy and patience. We determined what deer are feeding on, we knew the wind direction, and was able to pick a stand to capitalize on that information. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the buck. There's blood. So we need... Mercy. You had to run a long ways, didn't you?
Yeah, all the way to the bottom.
Just to 40 interns.
Wow. How's exit there?
That's exit. That's entrance. Look at the slice on that entrance. Man, there's a huge hole. Just recovered a doe I shot before the buck. That's an important lesson. Just because you harvest a deer doesn't mean you need to get out of the stand. We stayed put, and it resulted in a nice mature buck after we'd shot the doe. We trailed the doe about 4 times or more further than the buck. She made it all the way to the creek bottom. Glad the interns are here to pull her out. The reason she made it further is this shot was 7 or 8 inches higher, and it just simply takes longer for deer to expire when they're hit high in the lungs versus low. We've had an intern program for literally about 20 years. Today I'd like to introduce you to Matt, Nate, and Kyle. We do a lot of work just focused on educational aspects and teaching. Today's a little bit more on physical fitness as we take this doe to the top of the mountain. Lecture's over and the lab has started. I would suggest you drag with the hair. I think you can just go 2 on, 1 off and trade. We're going that way. I would go that way. What an awesome hunt it was for Daniel and I. We're able to take a mature doe, a hit list buck, and be blessed with a wonderful experience. When we recovered the deer, Adam recognized him as one of our hit list bucks called Blind 8. Later we had time to study all the RECONYX pictures of Blind 8, and it was easy to see they spent all his time primarily on 2 ridges, the one where I tagged him and one ridge to the north. There was one time when he ventured a little bit further north, but basically stayed in a relatively small range. More importantly, all the past pictures of this buck were during the nighttime, except for the previous week when we had 2 daytime pictures. If you're hunting in an area like I do that has a lot of pressure on this land and even the neighboring properties, cold fronts tend to be the name of the game. That's the primary factor that will get a deer up and moving during daylight hours.
Walk much.
We had yet to hunt this setup until the afternoon before and the morning I tagged Blind 8. Limiting hunting pressure until the conditions are right is a key factor in harvesting mature deer. I like to hunt a lot, so I can't just wait for a cold front to pass to go hunting, but I can always work hard to pick the stand where my presence will cause the least disturbance to the local deer herd. It was neat to see Blind 8 respond to the grunt call. The young buck's out in the plot. I hit the grunt just to see how he'll respond and hear footsteps coming. It's pretty much a hunter's dream. We've been tweaking on grunt calls from the summer till now. We watch all the footage we get, including our RECONYX footage of bucks grunting, and we're really trying to figure out the rhythm of tone of wild, free-ranging bucks.
Watch out for that broadhead. Well, this morning Grant shot Blind 8, a mature buck, and as soon as he made the shot, we both knew that he hit the offside shoulder. Once we caped it out, we actually found the havoc was still lodged in the shoulder, doing its job, and we're very pleased.
Blind 8 certainly wasn't the largest antlered buck on our hit list. In fact, the 3-year-old that Adam passed probably had larger antlers than Blind 8. But Blind 8 had one thing. He was 4 years old, he had expressed most of his antler growth potential, and he provided a great opportunity. Youth season opened in Missouri recently, and my youngest daughter, Ray, said she wanted to take a buck larger than the one she tagged last year. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know if Ray accomplished her goal. I hope you have a chance to get outside and enjoy creation this week, but most importantly, I hope you take time to be quiet every day, slow down, and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching GrowingDeer.tv.